Welcome to the premiere of Score Master Series. My name is Rebecca Hollis. So Masterclass has been created from identifying the need to set ScoreApp users up for success by supporting you through the sales process. So within the ScoreApp network itself, we have real experts in their field who cover the entire sales funnel, and they've had huge success with their scorecard, and they really want to share their learnings, results, and their expertise with us. So that is how the Masterclass series has come to be. So today, the premiere masterclass is with Helen Pritchard, and it's Fill Your Scorecard Leads from LinkedIn. Now, Helen is a successful award-winning entrepreneur with a wealth of experience in the digital marketing space. She has a stellar track record in recruitment marketing and working with high-performing professionals to generate leads directly from LinkedIn. And Helen has become a very respected a professional in the lead gen arena. So fantastic for us today. So building on her success, Helen and her business partner, Paul Green, have launched recruitment funnels, and that has a mission to humanize the recruitment experience, which I think everyone will be in agreement is very much needed. So today, Helen is going to cover how to set up LinkedIn to maximize your scorecard exposure. Where are the opportunities to promote your scorecard and how, and then with tactical steps of how to do it. And then a real deep dive into the ecosystem of the scorecard LinkedIn sales process. And again, we have 15 minutes of Q&A at the end. So once Helen has finished her talk, finished her masterclass, we'll then be able to ask her lots of lovely questions. So for now, it's enough from me. And it's over to Helen Pritchard to talk about scorecard leads through LinkedIn. Helen.
Very much. That was an amazing intro. Thank you very much. And hello, everybody, and welcome to the masterclass. Yes, so as in the intro, I've got a really dual thing here because I have been teaching people how to get leads from LinkedIn for the last 5 years. The LinkedIn Mastermind is my program, and everything I've learned in terms of the online space has been building that business. And we're doing that for 5 years, and it's been fantastic. You know, we've sold a couple of £1 million worth of that product. You know, we're doing all these online funnels, really understanding how to do this at volume. And now, very recently, as little as like probably 6 weeks, I've changed my LinkedIn to focus on my new startup, which, again, as Rebecca was saying, candidate funnels. It's about humanizing the recruitment process and using everything that I know on the lead gen space and bringing it into that process. Now, why this is important for you guys is that I am basically building a new audience. I'm putting out new content. I have a new scorecard, and I'm generating new scorecard leads for something new. And I think that's quite interesting because only 6 weeks in, I've completely transformed the way that LinkedIn works in terms of the clients it's attracting, the funnel, the way people are coming through my funnel, and the work that we're doing. So we're signing clients now, which is great. So we're already generating leads and cash into the business, into the bank, because we know that's what really matters through the scorecard funnel process, like right now. But it's very new. So if you're thinking, well, it's easy for Helen because she's been on LinkedIn for years. Everyone knows her for getting leads from LinkedIn. If you have a LinkedIn scorecard, which I do have, and it's filled with thousands and thousands of leads, it's almost like it's a bit meta, isn't it? Well, she uses LinkedIn to fill a LinkedIn scorecard. It's about LinkedIn on LinkedIn. But now I don't. So when I go through the process today, I'm going to give you a show round, and you'll see that it's not selling LinkedIn training now. I'm selling the candidate funnels, which is a higher ticket thing. It's selling to a completely different person, a different ideal client avatar. So I think it's quite a good case study, and now's a good time to sort of see it. So hopefully that's going to be useful for you. So what we're going to cover today, I'm going to talk really fast. So sorry, I'm a fast talker anyway. I've got lots of stuff that I want to get through for you. There's no slides because who wants to look at slides, right? Definitely not me. But I am going to show you my screen. I think that's quite important so you can see what I'm doing on the daily, if that makes sense. So we're going to cover around what we're not going to cover. Number one, we're going to cover what we're not going to cover and what's not important when it comes to using LinkedIn to generate leads into your scorecard. And then we're going to focus on what is, right? So I'm going to give you a show around the profile. I know a lot of you, I think it's 70% of you are using LinkedIn on a daily basis, which is great. But I'm going to show you how I would set up a profile to generate leads for a scorecard and ultimately for a new business. We'll other opinions are available. You might have different opinions on what works. I can only show you what works for me and for the thousands of people that I've trained over the last 5 years. And I'm going to show you my profile so you can see how that all fits together. And then it's like the tactics, right? Strategy is great, but I'm going to show you, I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to show you some of the ways I'm currently using LinkedIn to generate leads for my scorecard. And those things are working. That's all I can say. Loads of other ways to do this. I'm going to tell you now, it's working to the point where, within 6 weeks, we've got clients on board, we've got, cash in the bank, delivering projects into, we're in month 2 for one client, and it's all coming from LinkedIn. So what are we not going to talk about? And some of you might have questions about this stuff. So I might head off some of the things that you thought you were going to ask. So number 1, we're not going to talk about premium because you don't need it. LinkedIn is a brilliant, beautiful, I could bang on about it all day. It's a lead generating cash machine. It's a standalone. It doesn't need anything else. It'll generate those leads. You don't need to pay for premium. It's completely free. Save your money on premium and invest it in scorecard, right? Get scorecard premium instead. Much more efficient, much more useful for your business. LinkedIn Premium just allows you to see who's viewed you. Doesn't really matter. We're not focused on that. It allows you to send endless DMs. We're definitely not going to be talking about that today. So LinkedIn Premium. No more question I get asked. If I got £1 for every time I get asked that, I'd be a very wealthy lady. But we're not going to need it. You don't need it. If you've got it, great. It's a business investment. It's a business expense, tax deductible, fine. But you don't need it. So that's one thing. We're not going to worry about business pages because LinkedIn works best when you focus on your personal page, and generating leads for our scorecard is all about our personal page. So business pages, fine, have one. Like we have one for candidate funnels. It gives us a nice logo. We can put some stuff on there, but there's not much you can do with it. So today's all about personal page. We're not going to worry about writing personalized connection requests when we ask to connect with people to grow our audience. Loads of reasons why, which I haven't got time to go into, but just trust me on that one. You do not need to write personalized connection requests. Again, in my experience, having 36,000 connections or 36,000 followers, as it said now, I just don't write personalized connection requests, and I still manage to build my audience of lots of lovely, fantastic, perfect, ideal clients for me. And for me, that is the evidence that I need to give me the confidence to tell you don't need to write a personalized connection request. We're not going to worry about sending endless DMs to people. We're not going to worry about sending, DMs to everyone that we connect with, sending messages to everyone who ever asks us anything or ever sends us a message or asks us anything. It's just going to suck all the time and all the joy out of LinkedIn. If you send endless DMs to people who aren't interested in what you want to, what you want them to do, it's just going to be demoralizing for you. It's going to be damage to your reputation, and it's going to suck all your time. All the stuff that I do takes me less than 20 minutes a day, like 15 minutes a day max, if that. I can do more if I want to, and the more I do, the more I get. But literally, you can be in and out in 15 minutes. If it took me all day, I wouldn't do it, right? I've got stuff to do, like, I don't know, sit in the sun or sit staring into space, or just do something that I'd rather be doing than being on LinkedIn all day. We're not going to worry about automation. It's a dangerous game. I wouldn't recommend that you play it. You'll almost always get caught out, and LinkedIn doesn't like it at all. So we don't need to do automation. LinkedIn groups are universally rubbish. Again, find me someone who can prove that they've got a really engaged, interactive group. I've not seen one. I haven't got one. They may exist. It's not something that I talk about or teach. So we're not going to worry about that. We're not going to worry about what time to post. Nobody really knows about the LinkedIn algorithm, so let's not pretend we do. But the best time to post is always post now. And as you'll see when I show you my stuff, I just post whenever I feel like it, whatever I feel like posting. I don't think about if I've posted recently. I don't care what time it is I'm posting, because they'll show it any time they feel like it anyway. So we're not going to worry about time to post. We are going to talk about what to post, and I'll cover that when I do the show round. We're not going to worry about the algorithm, because we don't know what it does or how it works, really. And we're not going to worry about being in ridiculous things like engagement pods, because that's weird. We're not going to be engagement pods where we all message or each other, all the time. And we're not really going to worry about what people might think about what we're doing. Yeah. All we're going to worry about is the things that I'm going to tell you to worry about. For me, LinkedIn isn't about what reaction am I getting on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is all about put yourself out there, do the things that I'm going to ask you to do, be consistent, and then it will work. But what I see is a lot of people getting very caught up on how can I get more engagement? How can I get more people to like my stuff? How can I get, and it's not about that. It's just a marketing tool. Be consistent, put yourself out there. There's only 3 things that you need to do on LinkedIn each day. Number 1 is to ask to connect with your ideal clients. So know who those people are, search for them, ask to connect with them, don't write a personalized connection request. So 10 of those a day. So just get up, add 10 people, done for the day. That's going to grow your audience consistently, steadily, organically. Not going to cost you anything. It's not going to take you much time. Just go on your phone, search for your people, filter them by second degree connection, and just click through and ask to connect with 10 people each day. Engaging with your audience every day. So what I mean by that, and I'll show you when we go to the show round, is just putting comments on people's stuff. Not trying to add value, not trying to be insightful, but just supporting whatever they're posting about, because that's what people want on LinkedIn. They want to feel seen and heard and validated. So by going and proactively commenting on people's posts, whoever they are, whatever they do, what happens is if you do 20 to 30 polite, positive comments a day, more people are going to see your headline, more people are going to come to your profile, and ultimately more people are going to download your scorecard, right? Or come to do your scorecard. So 20 minutes of engagement a day, 20 to 30 comments a day, something like that. And then the third thing you need to do each day is post something. I'm not here to give you a really complicated strategy. I talk about 4 different types of content. So stories, video, social proof, and call to action. And the 5th pillar of content now really is polls. And again, I'll talk about that when we do the show round. But stories, so documenting who you are, what you do, why you do it. Short story, long story, emotional story, vulnerable story, whatever. Just telling stories. It could be, this is what I'm doing today. It could be, this is my huge vision for the future. It could be, this is a time this awful thing happened to me and how I got over it. But telling stories is how we connect with our audience. So what I would say is, weirdly, I don't make the rules of biopsychology, but the more open and honest and vulnerable you are, the more people seem to be drawn to you. They reach out to you more, and ultimately they want to work with you because they feel like they can trust you. Video. So video is a huge part of LinkedIn. LinkedIn Live is great. If you have creator mode, you can put out LinkedIn Live video using something like StreamYard, which is great because you can repurpose it and send it out again. But you can just do what I do, which is video, go into my LinkedIn, video myself for like a minute and post it on LinkedIn. pretty simple stuff. I hope you weren't expecting real exciting tactical stuff, because it's all simple, right? But video lets you come to life, lets people see you, see what you like, see whether they like you or not, and that's okay. We want to attract people to us. Just be yourself, just chat about anything. What you say isn't as important as the fact that you're there, that you're showing up. HD 4D living version of you. So video is really powerful. I know you hate it, but we're going to do it anyway. You got my main tips for video on any platform. Number 1, never watch them back. I would never watch one of my videos ever. So never watch your own videos back, because that's gross. Who wants to watch your own video? And never ask for feedback, because what are you asking for feedback on? Somebody's opinion. If I took everyone's unsolicited opinions, I never asked for them on board. You talk too much, you talk like, you're too northern, you swear too much, you drink too much wine, or whatever it might be, you wave your hands too much. But video is really powerful. And then social proof. So social proof is about other people have done the scorecard, or other people are feeling the way you're feeling. And this is the evidence, and here, come and do the scorecard. So social proof, because we are that kind of people, we are those sort of people that if other people are doing something, we want to do it as well. And then finally, call to action. So what I call down and dirty. Here's the link to the scorecard. Do it. That's it. So they're the kind of 4 pillars. So stories can lead to the scorecard, but you can talk about who you are and what you do and why you do it. Video can have a call to action for the scorecard, of course, but the video can be about who you are and what you do. Social proof. So it could be someone else getting a result, or one of your clients having a result. Link, to the scorecard. And then finally, just a straight link. Call to action. Love it. Right. Okay. So let's have a look at LinkedIn and how I use, as a LinkedIn person. I would never say LinkedIn expert, right? But somebody who's successfully used LinkedIn to generate millions of pounds. Let's go that. That's like, I'd say that makes me somewhat of an expert. And helped thousands of other people generate millions of pounds on LinkedIn, right? It's all good. So we're going to go and have a look. Right, so let's see if my technical skills don't let me down here. So we are sharing. Are we sharing? We should be sharing. I'm coming back. Yes, we're sharing. Right, okay. So I'm going to give you a show round of my LinkedIn and how I use it. Okay, so this is my profile, obviously. So this is me. As you can see, I have a headline. So the headline is this bit. So this goes underneath your name, and it should say, in my opinion, other opinions are available, who you help. So helping who? Who's your ideal client? What outcome do you deliver? Hire better people in a better way. I'm not really a copywriter. With candidate funnels. And then how do you do that? Well, it's consultancy, it's candidate engagement, it's end-to-end candidate experience. Now, the most important thing in your headline is that first 3 lines, which is that you're helping this type of person and what is in it for them, because that's how people think. Now, your headline's important on LinkedIn and when it comes to generating leads into your scorecard, because people see that, who are your ideal clients, they click on that and they'll come here. And that's what we want people to do. The most important thing on LinkedIn, well, the most important bit of copy, if you like, real estate is this. But in terms of the analytics, the only thing that I care about is this one here. So profile views. So the more activity I do on LinkedIn, the higher this number goes. And profile views, obviously, are people who are coming to look at your profile. The more people you can get to come and look at your profile, the more people will do your scorecard. The more leads you'll get, the more money you'll make. Basically, those things are absolutely interlinked. So I am always only competing against myself, and you should always be competing against yourself only as well. So go to your LinkedIn, check out your profile viewers number. This is in the last 90 days. And then think, if I follow Helen's advice for the next 90 days, and I ask to connect with people every day, I engage with people every day, and I post something every day, this number is going to go up, right? And you'll be able to see it, real cause and effect. You'll be able to see it going up, day on day. It should be always going up in the right direction. And that shows that you're being active and people are taking notice of you. So it's a really good way for you to see that things are happening. Picture and headline, so it talks about that. Now this bit is important for here. So here is a link for this masterclass. So this link here is a link to my scorecard. So you're allowed one link on LinkedIn that goes underneath your name that's clickable, and this is it. So number one thing to do today, if you've not done it already, is to put your scorecard link right there under your profile. And then as we're driving that traffic by using the headline and by doing our 3 things each day, we should get more clicks on this. So there's number one tip, I guess. So focusing on profile views, I have creator mode turned on. So creator mode means that I can send out newsletters, which I can have the link to my scorecard in. And I can do LinkedIn Live, which obviously I can promote my scorecard for candidate funnels. And it also means that I can do events because I can use StreamYard. So those 3 things are quite important to me. So I would recommend, if you want to use those tools, so using the newsletter feature, which allows people to subscribe. I've got about 5,000 subscribers on there. Using LinkedIn Live, which allows you to do longer video and use things like StreamYard, so you can put headers and use bring different people in and stuff. And LinkedIn events, which I'll talk about in a bit, but also work really well to get leads in for your scorecard. So you can then see here, this is my about section. You can, go and find me on LinkedIn. It's not a secret. You can go and have a look at this, and hopefully you'll be able to see how I teach people to write profiles is to make it all about your ideal client. So it says it's about you, but it should actually be about them. So it talks about who they are, their frustrations and what's going on, what they want to happen, and then it goes into who am I and how can I help? So the call to action here could be your scorecard. Now, the problem with that is that the links in this section are not clickable. So you could instead say, fill in the scorecard, go to my profile, scroll back up and click on the link there, or you could put the link in and people can copy and paste it. It's just that extra step. But I haven't got it in my profile, mainly because it won't fit, because there isn't enough. There isn't enough there. So there isn't enough space for me to write it. The other thing just to think about when it comes to profile is your recommendations. Very, very important to have as many as you can on it. So I've got 409. I've been on LinkedIn a long time, but it's really powerful for people to see this part on LinkedIn, because they're really hard to fake, because these are people, you can click on them, you can message them and all the rest of it. So the more you can get of your ideal clients, who the people you want to fill in your scorecard, the better. So there's other stuff you can put in there, but nothing to worry about too much. So getting your profile set up is about talking to your ideal client, having space for people to do the scorecard, talking about the scorecard, and allowing people to come to this. This is your landing page. And this is the bit I wanted to talk about in terms of making your profile really start to drive traffic to your scorecard. So for example, here, so this is a post that I wrote. This is a video that I did. I did it yesterday. I may or may not know I was going to do this today. I was thinking I've not done a video for a bit. So as you can see, I can't see the comments what you're saying, by the way, so hopefully this is all making sense. But as you can see, it's scrappy. It's done on my phone. It's done on portrait. I'm not using my nice webcam that you're all looking at me through now, so you can see what a catfish I am. But it's 90 seconds long, I think. It's a really quick video. It talks about 3 reasons to take my scorecard today, basically. So it's just a very quick post, a very quick video with the link right there. So I then, with using these buttons here, you can add it to featured. So that says remove, but obviously because it's in there. So you can add it to featured. So going there and putting that on as featured means that when people are on your profile, which is all what we're going to be doing every day is driving people, they'll see that here. Now you can put lots of things here, but you can showcase the things you want people to see. So this is another one of my features. So this is a poll that I did. And this is where I'm going to talk a bit more around the ecosystem that we use in terms of getting people to fill in our scorecard based on the content that we put out. So a poll on LinkedIn is super powerful. I can't rave about them enough, right? So we ask a question. So you can use all the questions you've got in your scorecard, one by one, make them into a poll. Then you put a question up like this, like a poll, and you can see that when I've made the poll, other people will see the results, but they won't see who's voted. So I've not had massive views on this. I've had 2,500 nearly views on it, but you can go to the votes here and it will show you who's voted. Now there's 2 things you can do next. One is you can ask to connect with the people who have voted but aren't in your network. And then the other thing that you can do, and if you think about my ideal client, which is multi-site, businesses with high volume recruitment need, this was absolutely music to my eyes, because Chris is a first degree connection of mine already, head of recruitment at Five Guys Europe, massively in my sweet spot for an ideal client. And what LinkedIn will let me do now is go to the DM and it will let me, why is it not doing it? And it'll send this, and then I can send that to him and say, thank you so much for filling this in. It was really useful for me to get an insight into where you're at. Please would you have a look at this, where you've got 28 more questions to give me more of an insight. I'd really appreciate you filling it in. And then into the funnel he goes. into my candidate funnel he goes. Client funnel he goes. So using a poll on LinkedIn and then messaging people and then sending the link, because we're not just DMing people at random. We're now DMing people who have voted on our poll. So they've taken action. You've asked them a question. We now send them the scorecard and ask them to fill it in. And we can also do it the other way around. So when people fill in our scorecard, we can go and find them on LinkedIn. Then we can message them and say, thanks for filling in the scorecard. I've done a poll on something. I'd love to get your insight. And then you can send them a link to this, the poll. So it starts to create an ecosystem between using your scorecard questions as polls and then following up in the DMs, giving them the scorecard link, and then bringing it all back in together. So hopefully that's useful. And when you look at some of the other types of content that I use for promoting the scorecard, so I can make this as relevant as possible, is that, let's have a look when I go to my profile, hold on. So if I go to my profile, and again, you can go and have a look. This is all, open source information. You can go to my profile and you can look at my activity and you can see exactly what I've been posting. Now, number one problem I see when people come to me and say, I'm not getting these links in for my scorecard, is they're not posting it enough. So one of the first things that I do, or one first thing I did when I got my scorecard, is I did this. So I posted, I set up a scheduler, and I made my link, just my link, straight out into my scorecard, go out 3 times a day, every single day, morning, noon, and night, every single day, forevermore. And it goes out, and every time it goes out, somebody fills it in. So that's really simple in terms of like the basics, is I just make sure the link goes out 3 times a day. Obviously, there's more creative ways you can do that. So one of the ways that we could, but that just make sure there's always something going out. So it's just a straight call to action. This is an event that Paul and I did. So you can set up a LinkedIn event. And this is a live that we did that talks all about the subject matter. So you can do this and you can bring other people in. You can have multiple speakers and you can share all their audience. But what's really powerful about the event, oh my God, right, let me come. It's going to make a noise, sorry, so come off it. But on the actual event itself, it allows you to see, so there's 76 people coming. It allows you to segment your audience and invite them. It allows you to see who's coming. It allows you to message all the people who've coming and send them your scorecard before the event. And it allows you to message them after and send them your scorecard after the event. So the events are really, really good because they also last forever. So this again is one of my featured posts. So people can come and have a look at that event anytime they want. I've gone out of my activity now, hold on. So just posting it, doing an event about it. What did I do today? Hold on, I thought I did it today. Let's look at my post from today. It's showing me all of my engagement instead of just my post for some reason. LinkedIn can be a little bit glitchy. That's me promoting the masterclass today. It's me talking about the group. There's my video. But I did one today. But basically what I did is I took image from, and I'll show you because I've got it saved in my thing. So here, for example, my screenshots from the behind the scenes, if you like, of the scorecard. So I go to my scorecard, I go to the results page, and then I can screenshot this. And it's one of the questions, obviously it's the answer. And then I can put a post about it and say, lots of people are filling in the scorecard. These are the results so far. If you're interested in filling in the scorecard, then, this is the link. So that's another way for you to do that. So I think they're the main things that I do. So polls are really powerful. Newsletter works really well. Sharing the data that you're getting in your scorecard and using that as content works really well. Just posting the link also works really well. It sounds simple, but you don't have to write War and Peace every time. And ultimately, every time I post on LinkedIn with a link to my scorecard, somebody fills it in. So that's kind of how it works. Hopefully that's useful for you to see all the different ways I'm currently using to generate lots of lovely leads to our scorecard. So yeah, you can, everything you get. So when you go to like the sort of the back end of your scorecard and you get the results, and it makes a lovely graph. Thanks very much for that, team. So you can screenshot it and you can use it as a piece of content. You could do an over-the-shoulder live video of you going through some of those results and talking about what it means, why it's important. When I do webinars, I'll pull up some of this stuff. And again, like Rachel did at the beginning, Rebecca, is that I was just reading someone's name there, Rachel. You can then go through the results and feed that back to your audience as well. And all the time, the more you're talking about people filling in your scorecard, the more people fill it in. It's almost, it keeps going. It keeps going like that. So hopefully that is useful. Okay, so I think that Rebecca's going to be back in a couple of minutes to do some Q&A.
Hey, hello. Thank you,
hopefully.
Helen. Yeah, we do. We do have some Q&A here. So thank you everyone for sending all of your stuff. And Helen, thank you for sharing all of that with us. It was so interesting. I thought that one of the most interesting things for me was that really this is only a 20 or 30 minute a day, that if you're going to commit to creating content, you don't need to be on there all day, every day, creating content, responding back to people, reaching out to people. You just need to be very focused, know what you need to do. Making sure that you're consistent is another thing that we picked up on. We talk about this a lot in the community, that posting it in your bio or posting it on your website is not enough. You need to keep talking about your scorecard. You need to, people say that they need 11 positive interactions before they will either buy from you or work with your company. So it's very, very similar when you're wanting to bring people into your ecosystem. So that was amazing. So I'm going to pull up a couple of questions. So actually one that's just come in, which I think is quite interesting. If you know this, Helen, can you promote your LinkedIn poll using ads?
I saw that one just come in from Richard, and I'm like, I don't know, is the honest answer.
I don't know.
You must be able to know, because it's just a post, isn't it? It's just a post and it's a poll, so you must be able to sponsor it in some way. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not an expert on LinkedIn ads at all. I've never been able to get them to really work or find anyone who does. So yeah, but you must be able to. I don't know. Apparently you can't. There you go. So,
yeah, there we go. There we go. And then a couple of people have been asking about your scorecard itself. Is it the same scorecard, the type of scorecard that you're posting underneath your content, that you're directing people to? Tell me a little bit about that scorecard. Is it the same, pretty much the same one every time? Is it a short scorecard, a long one? What's the premise of the actual scorecard itself?
Yeah, so it's exactly the same one every time. The premise of the scorecard is for people to understand that they're not doing recruitment right. They're not treating the people in their recruitment process very well, and they are struggling. You know, they are doing things that we do the opposite of, if that makes sense. So it's to get them to realise that they've got a recruitment problem and they're not doing everything they can, but they haven't got time to fix it, and we're the answer, basically.
Yeah. And the scorecard itself that you've got, is it quite short? Is it like 8 to 12 questions, or what is
the... it's about 20 to 25 questions.
Because you've got a relatively warm audience, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it takes people through that section. We don't have a huge amount of drop off, which is good, but we do have some people who just open. I was asking Paul about this. I was like, why is it like 1 hour or something? He said, because people obviously just opening it up and leaving it on the desktop, because my audience are very busy, you know, HR directors. So they're interested. And what's interesting is, even if they fill in a couple of questions and then stop, we will still contact them and be like, oh, we know you're really busy, but we saw you clicked on it. You know, can we help you? You know, and we'll send video and stuff like that to talk them through.
Yeah. I think what was interesting when we have spoken in the past, Helen, is you've had quite a few success stories with ScoreApp, and I think you and Paul were really excited when you first got started and you tested a load of things. But I think what would be really helpful for people to understand is a couple of like your success stories, but how did that come to be? What was the end-to-end process of you created this scorecard and then you did what, and it resulted in what? I think that would be quite interesting, because I know you've got some great stories and to share.
Well, what I love, I love ScoreApp. Like, I know I'm preaching to the converted here because everyone's got it, but it was just a game changer for me, because I can generate leads for anything. It's kind of like, it's easy for me. I've been doing it for years for multiple businesses. So my LinkedIn stuff, when we started generating that, Paul was like, whoa, we've got so much. So we had to really focus on volume leads and how we could automate the funnel. So we've worked really hard on making what happens after they fill the scorecard work. So we've integrated things like personal video and things like, you know, email sequences that work, and again, adding on LinkedIn. So it's worked really well. Big success story though for me was, I put a random comment on somebody's post who makes laptop bags, Charlotte Cars, some of you might know her. She's very prolific on LinkedIn. And I just commented on something completely random. A guy who's third degree away from saw my comment, saw my headline, clicked on my headline, saw my scorecard, filled in the scorecard. And one of the questions that we ask, or a couple of the questions, is, what's your budget, basically? What have you invested in this problem before, and what's your budget for the next 12 months? And this guy was like, my budget's $100 million. And Paul like sent me a screenshot. I was like, that's got to be a typo. And then the guy emailed me and was like, I've just been through your scorecard. I've never seen anything like it. Can you help us do the same thing? Like, we want to do this. Like, I think it's fantastic. And we got on a call with him, and he turns out, and he's one of, like, I don't know, you know when you get like mates with people really quickly? I just love him to bits. He's great. He's called Dan, and he's a partner in like the biggest law firm in America outside of New York City. Like, a big deal. And he's a big deal. And he's got this amazing company. They've been going for 100 odd years. You know, they've worked on these amazing projects. And he was just like, couldn't wait to get in front of me and Paul, and was like, guys, tell me how you do this. This is great. You know, can you help me get into new audiences in Europe with this stuff? Can you help me, you know, with the LinkedIn stuff? Can you help me with the recruitment stuff? And it was just like, and every time I see him, every time we have a meeting, he's like, how's things with your wedding dress? Or what's going on with it? You know, because I post loads of personal stuff. And every time I got a call, he's like, how was your hen do? Like, what's going on? Like, you know, how are United doing? And I think just being really personable and private has really led to lots of great contacts.
It definitely speeds up that sales and the getting to know you type of thing. There's a couple of people that actually want to know, like, what are you doing? So once those sales and those leads come into your business, what do you and Paul do? How do you follow up with these? Because obviously you've got all this data. What do you do with it? Is it calls? Is it email nurture? Is it a little bit of both?
It's all of the above, right?
Okay.
Like Daniel says, you know, we look at it as like, how can we nurture them in a way that doesn't feel like they're being, like, you know, hounded, but they're seeing us everywhere. So we go for multi-platform, multimedia. So what we'll do is, we segment our leads depending on how they answer. So we ask very specific questions about budget and things like that. So I spend my time at what I call like the top quadrant. So people who are very motivated, have the money to spend, and, you know, have got a problem that we can fix, right? They're our ideal clients now. So the people who are at the bottom quadrant, either they've got no money, or they're not that motivated, or they don't think they've got a problem, we nurture them in a different way. So they get a different email sequence of like, here's all our free stuff, like keep in touch, here's how you can find me on other platforms, you know, and giving them lots of support and making them feel important, but not really moving them through the process yet because they're not quite ready. The people in the top quadrant, we go to town. So they get an email sequence with video content, audio content, and written content, because people like it in different ways. We tell them how we're going to get it. It's got video of me in there. On day 4, we send them a personalized video using our video software. Like, hi, Dave, you know, thanks for filling in the scorecard. I'm looking at it now, and you scored really highly on this, which is great, and not so well on that. I really think we can help you with this. So it allows us to be a lot more personalized in that video. People love that, and they respond back and get people on calls from that. Then if they don't respond to that, we'll send them messages. We get all of their information, all their data. We can send them, you know, articles and things of interest, maybe book recommendations, depending on how they've answered. We can phone them, we text them, we send them WhatsApps, like whatever it takes. We email them, and we follow them on LinkedIn, and we connect with them on LinkedIn. We message them on LinkedIn and say thanks.
What's the video platform that you use? Is it Bonjoro?
So we use Bonjoro.
Yeah,
we use Bonjoro.
Someone asked about what platform. Bonjoro is a pretty good platform to be able to use to send customized. You can either send them as like standardized ones, or you can send personal ones. It's very, very good.
Yeah, so we love it. So we have is it Zapier? I'm not really good at the tech side, but we have a Zap set up. So between the 4th and 5th emails, it will land into my Bonjoro to say, you've got new Bonjoros to do. So I'll have a list of people to do, and it'll go and look at the scorecard before I do the video, and I talk them through it. So it's very simple,
amazing,
but very effective. Yeah.
A really quick one. Someone wants to know, do you do your scorecard before or after? I mean, obviously people can take your scorecard. If you've got the link, you can do that in a second, but is it before or after?
Do the scorecard before or after what?
So is it that, you know, when you fill out your lead form, do they fill out their details before or after?
Before, yeah. Before. Yeah, name, email, phone number, and people give us the phone numbers. You know, they really
brilliant. Do. And would you say that's because you've got the warm up audience, or would you do it any other way if you were doing ads, Helen?
I don't know. Look at my guy from America, look at all the leads that I'm getting and the people I'm speaking to. These might be people that have maybe seen me, but like Dan had only met me online that day. He hadn't been following me for ages. So I think it really impresses people that they can go through that process and that funnel. And obviously I love it because of the enriched data. When you do get on a sales call with somebody, you've got so much to talk about. Right?
Yeah, I think as well, some people are saying it's after. I also think when it comes to the lead form, the lead capture form, it depends who your audience is as well. If this is, it really does depend, and you can test these things. So when you are in the ScoreApp back office, you can test. We've actually now got landing page A/B testing. Thank you, Jonathan. So that is that has now been launched. So you can, we say with ScoreApp, the first time you do something, it's about learning. You're learning about customers, you're learning about your ScoreApp, and then apply these learnings that you've got to make it better and see what actually works for you. Beth is also asking how do you add the quiz link to the top of your profile? I think this is the new one that everyone's talking about, Helen.
Yeah. So the thing with LinkedIn, much to my annoyance really, is that they add and take away features all the time, and they roll things out at different speeds. So it might be you can't find it because it's not there yet, but it'll be coming. But if it is there, it's in the little pencil edit profile section. It should give you a space that says website, and that's what we put in there. We put the ScoreApp link in there.
Okay, amazing. I actually have one more question for you. So have you made any mistakes with your scorecard? And if so, talking about learnings, I think it's really important to talk about the things that maybe didn't go so well so other people can learn from that. It's great hearing all your success, but I know that's probably come from a little bit of learning. So
I mean, mistakes, I think for me, there's things like we ask people to, when we did the LinkedIn one, which is the one that we'll be sending out after this, and I think it's been changed now, but one of the things that I always teach is being really clear on you need to earn and you want to earn figures, right? So it's like, what do I need to earn out my business and what do I want to earn? And, and that's what I sort of start my LinkedIn teaching with. It's like, how much money do you want to make out of LinkedIn and how, what you're going to sell and stuff. And I think when we asked that question to a cold audience, i.e. people who didn't know me, it was almost like people were just stopping there. They were like, almost like it's a bit rude to ask. But when I was in my, in a free 5-day challenge, we talked about that and people were much more comfortable. So I think we took that out or we made it optional. So that was one thing that I remember definitely. And I think in terms of like other mistakes, I don't know, because it's all learning, isn't it? So you can't say it's a mistake. It's more, there's more learnings, but we've definitely, what I would say about Scorecard, just like ScoreApp, just like I do about LinkedIn, it's just a movable feast. You can always be tweaking it, changing it, updating it, thinking about, and, ScoreApp's bringing out new features all the time. The A/B testing is going to be a game changer. But the thing is, to test things, you've got to be consistently putting leads in. And to put leads in consistently, you've got to be showing up consistently. So am I doing things right or wrong? I don't know. All I know is I'm doing sales calls every week with highly qualified prospects. And all I'm doing is the 3 things a day on LinkedIn that take me 20 minutes.
And I can confirm that. I have seen the leads. I have seen the leads, everyone. So you're doing amazing, Helen. And, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to share this with us. This is a free masterclass and the Score community are amazing and they're full of really smart people like yourself. And it's so nice to be able to share this with everybody. So thank you so much for joining us at the premiere of the Score Masterclass series and really appreciate Helen for all of your time. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.